I've been in a transformation. I've lost over 100 pounds over the last 5 years.
Jesus.
I was a facilitator that spent 2 weeks a month on the road, and I say I want to grow young. I don't want to grow old. I'm probably 15 years younger feeling than I was when I first showed up here 18 months ago. And that led me down a path for mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial, just exponential explosion in my life.
I'm here with Aaron Bear. Welcome to the RMI Longevity Club podcast. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
What led you to RMI first? What was I got to find out about these guys.
Well, I basically have a son that has a rare genetic disorder. Got me really interested in health. I realized I wasn't getting any younger. I wanted to be an example for him, and made him have a belief system that he doesn't even know that he has this, and it's kind of overcome a lot of obstacles. And during that time, it just became more and more important. It's a mitochondria functional disease, and stem cells is one of those promising things. So I was heading down this path and kind of learning about longevity myself, and I've been in a transformation. I've lost over 100 pounds over the last 5 years.
Jesus.
I was a facilitator that spent 2 weeks a month on the road, and as as COVID hit, it was a blessing for me, and I kind of wrote a book called Exponential Theory: The Power of Thinking Big. And that led me down a path for mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial, just exponential explosion in my life. Which part of that was kind of getting connected here as it's kind of a building block for longevity. As I feel younger and younger every day, and I'm doing things that I never thought I would do again. And physically, literally, I'd say the biggest accomplishment of my life is I came back and was in this gym, and I was in this contest of ski erg for 1,000 meters, and I came in second. But that was the guy that was 25 beat me. I'm 50, so I'm going to say stem cells helped me do that.
And word on the street is the other guy cheated. That's what I heard. So really,
well, we didn't see his timing. He didn't turn it in like I did. So
Yeah.
it was
honesty is the best
trouble.
Policy.
It is.
That's amazing.
Says a former jockey.
But listen, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. That's the name of the game. It's you got to take every inch where you can get it. I mean, it's just like life. I think you have to be as proactive in anything you do. And I think that it's funny, like when you think about medicine in the States, everything is kind of a reactive approach, whereas here, everything is a proactive. Like you're trying to get ahead of things and think like beyond the problem, and maybe not even run into the problem. Like you're working on the solution already.
Yeah.
So like what was your, like I know you're saying with your son, like, well, what led you down the road of like, all right, I want to find out about RMI, I want to find out about stem cells. Like what was the change moment for you?
I crossed paths with Dana at a conference in Nashville, and was sharing this story about my own physical transformation and kind of my goals, and that I was in a huge transformation. And I have a pretty good network of different people. I speak around the world. I've been to 100 plus countries, and work with Damon John and Rob Schneider and different celebrities, and helping them with their business interests and kind of helping them think bigger themselves. And there was a connection that thought, hey, why don't I come down and check out RMI? And I've come back 3 times since. So, and it's not my last time for sure.
That's amazing. And you're saying you lost 100 pounds. Like what was your lifestyle like that before? Like were you just eating regular food, or like did you have something?
Yeah, no, it wasn't that I had a real bad habit. I mean, it was like one of those things that just happened over 15, 20 years. Like I was on the road, so my circadian rhythm was off. I didn't have good sleep habits. I didn't have good exercise habits. My nutrition was, I was in an airport.
You're living on the road food.
I was living on the road, and candidly, it's not a good lifestyle. It's one of those things that sounds glamorous. Been to a lot of different places, seen a lot of different things. But now I've really built a lifestyle around my health, and really working to not travel as much, choose things that I'm really passionate about and very excited about. And that's where that led me to kind of getting good habits, around sleeping, around nutrition, around exercise. I work out every day, and I would say that the stem cells have only encouraged me to do that more and more. I think one of the mindsets is going in to get stem cells is having an intention of what you want out of it. And then, after I got them the first time, I didn't waste them, meaning I didn't go back to my lifestyle. I literally accelerated my habits exponentially. And from that, it was even a greater transformation for me. So, I mean, I give a lot of credit to RMI and my experience here with the staff and people here. I mean, it's been a really good experience. And through that transition, it's only gotten better. And that's where I see it as a vital part of the future proactive landscape of healthcare. So, including behavioral health as well as physical, all the different kinds of health, and understanding that holistic, comprehensive, stem cells are a part of it. They're not for everybody, but they're definitely going to be a bigger part in the future. And that's exciting where RMI is going, from my understanding. I think it's a transformative science around regenerative medicine, and I'm a living proof of it. I'm probably 15 years younger feeling than I was when I first showed up here 18 months ago.
That's true. That's something I hear from like a lot of people that will talk about this is like once you, like stem cells are not cheap. They're probably in a sense, in that sense, they're not for everybody right now, but it is such an investment in yourself. It's such a like, you have to do everything else around it. Like no different than investing in the stock market or anything else. Like you have to do it right and you have to be diligent about your growth and what you're putting in to get the gains and results that you're expecting. And I think you have to live a life that mirrors that. And that's something that I think they really do teach well here. Chris and I were talking about it earlier, like the blue zone mentality of like who you're around, your friends, your community, your sense of faith, what you put into your body, what you breathe in, where you do it. It's not a one-stop shop, but you teach the lifestyle that goes with it, and that's clearly it's been a part of your journey.
Yeah, I'm also a strategic advisor of Blue Zones, and that's been all part of my journey. As I age myself, you realize like it's a natural process. I'm enjoying the age I am. With that said, I want to do the things I've always done, and I'm actually doing more things than I've done in the last 15 years. So that's, the magic formula I think is, building your 5 closest friends. Chris has become one of my really, really good friends. He'll challenge you physically beyond belief. And I think that's an important part of, where you're going to be in the future is like who you surround yourself with. And then, the other piece that I use in my book, Exponential Theory, is just that you have to play the long game. The reality is if you start thinking about your health in more longer term, you'll make better decisions for yourself on a daily basis. And ultimately that leads to, what I'd say is a healthy path. No one goes and creates a New Year's resolution and quits in 3 weeks because, it's easy to quit if you're just saying, I need to do this now. But if you have like a 5 or 10 year goal, now those goals become a lot easier to stick because now you're thinking much more longer term and making better micro decisions because your micro stories are your macro stories. And, as you said, we're all mirrors and we're all just reflections of, what we resist. So if you have no resistance and you see bigger of the world and your thoughts get bigger, then, stem cells are probably part of everybody's health equation if they choose to live a life that they want to, prosper and really grow. I say I want to grow young. I don't want to grow old. I want to grow young with my spouse and not really think about growing old. It's like, and now with this technology and science, we actually are seeing that happen. It's very, very cool. We're in this biotech revolution that RMI is right in the middle of.
No, it's amazing. And let me ask you, like, over the years, like, did you try, like, everybody tried quick fixes. Like, I know myself, I had all kinds of different injections. I tried PRP, corticosteroids for different injuries, and, they'd wear off quickly.
Yeah.
And you kind of get a little bit, like, mentally defeated. It's like, I know you're saying, like, with Vail Health, and they're working on a lot of things on the mental side, but physical pain and mental pain are, they go hand in hand. And it's like, when you add that factor of being defeated by, oh, that didn't work, it just sets you back. And you need to be around people that are going to say, hey, no, there's other options, there's something better for you there, like, keep pushing. Like, did anything like that ever happen to you? Like, did you try quick fixes, like whether it's diets or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think being and gaining weight and those different things, yeah. I mean, I was going from fad to fad and probably making it worse for myself. I think the real goal is just a lifestyle, right? Like, if you do invest in yourself at this level, it's also your responsibility to have a mindset to go out and take advantage of them by, exercising, eating right, sleeping, getting proper hydration, all the different things, grounding. I mean, there's literally 100 things that, probably could list off, and it's that you don't have to do all of them. You have to find the unique footprint for yourself. And this one is part of my footprint, and candidly, I think has really transformed my own vision for myself in the future, and that's exciting. I don't think about, like, as I said before, I don't think about growing old. I think about growing young. Like, what can I do? That, as most people get older, they think about what less they can do, and I realize, because of Blue Zones, is getting up and down on your legs and squatting, and mobility is so important. It's like I'm more mobile now than I was 25 years ago, and I'm competing at a level that's much, much greater than I was 25 years ago. And I was a college soccer athlete, so I wasn't necessarily someone who didn't actually go out and do things. But right now, I just have a thirst for wisdom, and I think part of that is in my own physical. I know that the more I challenge myself there, I can mentally expand myself as well. So it is a mirror of one to the other.
That's amazing. So tell me, like, some of the physical changes you found. Like, when was your, like, breakthrough moment of, like, wow, this is working for me? Like,
Yeah, no, I think it's box jumping is one of them. I mean, I'm starting to box jump at the highest level, and
my level's down here, just so we're on, but you're taller.
I honestly didn't think I could jump, going back into that. So it's just a level of physicality that I never thought. I'm sprinting at a rate that I never thought I was. I mean, I'm really challenging myself. So it's been great to have friends like Chris Lindley at Vail. I'll get off the plane and he'll put snowshoes on me and hike 6 miles up. We'll go skinning. Just crazy
That
things.
scares me, because I'm doing this 10K with him on Sunday. He said, "Oh no, I'm gonna go slow. I'm gonna go slow."
Yeah, well, he is a slow runner, so we'll leave that. You can air that and make sure that he hears that as well.
Yeah, but how slow is slow? Because, like,
I don't know.
barely out of a jog. I'm not.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
I need some pump up before then. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, what got you into the? Give me a little bit of your life journey. Like, how did you start and everything?
Yeah, no. I worked at Accenture Anderson Consulting and was a consultant, and left there and ultimately started a digital strategy agency called Buzzmouth that grew to be one of the largest in the Southwest. We had clients like Google and Dannon and Dell and Harley Davidson and Coca-Cola. And I sold that in 2015. But prior to that, while I was doing it, I was actually out becoming an innovation facilitator for other agencies like M&C Saatchi in Australia, big agencies in New York City, Hyper Island, Chaos Pilot, WDHB, which were different learning groups that I kind of worked with and I facilitated for them. And then it ultimately led to digital transformation, which every company has gone through. And, I started working with Daimler and Coca-Cola and Belfius Bank and different very large companies, kind of helping them think through digital transformation. And then that led me to writing this book, Exponential Theory, Power of Thinking Big, because I was in the rooms with people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs, and over that career period of time. And it was just exciting to kind of share, like, these big thinkers. I had 1,200 pages of notes that I had kind of captured from being in all these facilitations. And it was just, a long time ago, I was at Apple, and Steve Jobs just comes in a room, and you get this experience that he just thought differently than everyone else. And he was very definitive about how he saw the future and how he talked. And I wanted to learn that. So ultimately I said, I'm going to write a book about this. And I did, and published that in 2021, became a Wall Street Journal, USA Today bestseller. Still is a great kind of tool for me to kind of open doors to help people think bigger. And with AI revolution that we're heading into, I was kind of in front of that. And now I have an AI academy that kind of helps people create their own personalized agents to help them do all kinds of different things, but literally create 100x productivity for individuals. I do that for CEOs, for other people. I do it for myself. So now in 2 hours in a day, I can do 200 hours of work if I have my agents working for me.
Wow.
And that's just leveraging technology exponentially. And I think part of that is then you realize that physically you have to be in the best shape of your life to be able to have the endurance of that. And it's also freed me up to say I have more time to have physical. So kind of living the life, what I'd say is the life of a future executive, and I'm out there teaching the world like how to be that. And that's been a fun experience for me. Along the way, I'm acting and doing comedy and doing things to challenge myself just to have fun, but also to, expand my own horizons and boundaries, because I think it's like the master of communication is, expanding when you can be in front of an audience and have the empathy to be in a room and kind of capture a moment and have everybody laughing, because you captured a scenario that everybody kind of could get with. That's the magic of facilitating, but it's also the magic of doing comedy, whether it's stand-up or crowd work or improv. Do all those different things. So I have a monthly variety show in Phoenix, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm just having fun at this stage of my life, and stem cells are part of it. They're going to help drive the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years of fun.
So you're basically saying stem cells made you funnier.
Yes, they worked on my humor bone. They improved the humor bone. Actually wrote a book called Funny Bone, or wrote a screenplay called Funny Bone, that is all about a journey of me and a mentee that is very transformative. And there'll be a movie theaters here soon, so I'm excited to share that.
Very good, very good.
Been writing a lot, just kind of seeing my future as someone that has figured out how to have a voice, and I want to share that in the best way possible.
That's amazing. And did you find like being a writer helped you with comedy? Like, what's the hardest part? Like, is it getting out like?
I think for most people, it's getting up in front of people. But I've been a facilitator, so I've been in the boardrooms of really major companies where everyone was there their goal was to derail you, and I was able to kind of bring them along. And I always say I create action, not consensus, because consensus never exists. And so same with comedy, is like getting in front of people wasn't the issue. I think it's understanding and feeling what the room feels, and understanding how to kind of dig into things that may be funny and have some fun with it.
And do you what's part of your routine? Like, is it political, or is it like what is it like?
I'm not looking to get canceled here, Tom, on this,
come
this
on.
podcast. No, I stay away from political. I mean, I have my own political jokes I can share with you offline.
Off camera,
but
yeah.
No, it's more just situational. I mean, I talk a lot about relationships. I think they're, all we are is relationships and connections. And, part of my own growth is the ability to help companies raise a significant amount of money by, and whether it's negotiating or kind of helping people think bigger about themselves. And that's my strategy in sales, marketing, and everything is like, if you can help people think bigger about themselves. And so my comedy is very, very much optimistic comedy. And it's very much, how do I help you think bigger about yourself? And I'm saying that to a jockey here.
Yeah, I know.
Across from me.
I'm stuck 5'7" shrinking probably, but
Yeah, that said you wanted to get an extra inch, earlier in this podcast. So in that, it's like, really, how do I help you expand your own persona so that you take up more space in this room?
That's good. That's interesting. That's interesting. They probably like, no, we don't want him taking up any more space. But was it hard the first time you went up there? Because I mean,
it wasn't. It wasn't.
No, just natural to you.
No, it was natural. Well, because being a facilitator, I was always kind of making fun of situations to kind of move the conversation along. Because when it's serious, I think when you're laughing and living and you're learning, you grow. And I think when people are real serious, they're in friction, and then they're actually at odds with each other. So oftentimes I would create scenarios that would kind of enlighten the room or whatever. So I would say I had, and I've done improv for a long time, and we do improv, and that's just acting out a scene and people pimping each other out to have fun. And so all of it is just kind of learning to be in flow, and it's kind of letting go. Like this weekend, I'm going to lead a retreat with Vail Health at Surf Synergy, and that retreat is all about helping people get into flow state, which in comedy, in facilitating, in acting, improv, in podcast and interviews or whatever, it's just I have no idea what I'm going to say, but it just is about being in flow. Just right now, I'm like working off of 24 hours of not sleeping, but in a delayed flight. But it's like, how do I just actually flow into that, just to kind of create the best experience I can out of everything.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Did you find that comedy helps you in your personal life? Because I know myself, like I probably come from a very, all my family are very sarcastic, and that's probably a way of showing affection in a lot of ways. Yeah. Sounds weird, but it's more of an Irish thing. But like, I think when you do laugh, you feel lighter. And I'm sure if you're in a job that's high pressure, or you're in these situations that are intense, you're always got that energy.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of rules that in my own, I do executive coaching along with facilitating, and these rules are along these lines of, you are a mirror. So if you can laugh at something, you've healed. So you can have the most traumatic thing happen to you, and then you could also have something that's not really a big deal, but you're going to handle it completely different based on your triggers, your ancestral DNA. I mean, a lot of different things that you may not know, but you're also just kind of this living deja vu of you learned how to handle a situation, you handle it over and over again. So comedy is a way to handle it in a new way, and so you can rewrite your story. And part of the screenplay that we wrote, Funny Bone, is all about my mentee, me helping him rewrite his story, because he was candidly came to me and called me from the psych ward. This is what the screenplay is about, and we were able to kind of get him to living in his dream, within a couple years, from really being suicidal. He had 2 roommates commit suicide, so very heavy stuff. But now he's able to kind of laugh about his journey, and actually, when he starts to laugh about it, he helps other people laugh about it and other people heal. Seeing it from a different perspective with humor involved is probably one of the biggest healing things there is. And that's if you're ever sick or down or whatever, watch comedy, have fun, laugh. It is the biggest healing medicine. I went to a laughing shaman in Bali, Indonesia, and I laughed for a whole day.
Did you steal any of his act?
No, his act was just belly laughing. So I learned how to belly laugh, and if a comedy show is not going well, I just start belly laughing. I just start, and I just start letting it go, and then all of a sudden the whole room's laughing. So I can always bail myself out if I'm bombing.
But that's funny too when you think about it. Like laughter is contagious. Like kind of when people yawn, everybody around them starts yawning. It's like bad energy. It's all contagious, and it goes back to kind of a little bit with the blue zone stuff. It's like who you're around and what feeds you and builds the energy. We had, I was telling Chris earlier on, we had this couple here last week, Bobby and Sophia Castro, and hung out with them all week, and they were just funny. And 2 people that you're like, there was never 2 people probably more meant to be together, but they just bounced off each other. It was great energy. And dropped them at the airport, and I was like, I said it to one of the drivers, like, man, I missed them already. Like, there's just, energy was infectious.
Yeah.
But it really does make you think about like who I'm around and what effect does that have on me. And whether it's in the workplace or in any place.
You are your 5 closest friends. So if you want to just see who your personality is the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you're just mirrors of those people, and they're mirrors of you. And that's where, being deliberate and intentional about who you spend time with and how you spend time is very important to your own success, but also to your own vision for your future. Like if your 5 closest friends hang out at a bar every day, you're probably gonna say you're gonna break that habit. You can break that habit probably for 2 or 3 weeks before you miss them and go back. And that's where sometimes it's hard to make these kind of life changes that life demands of people as they age. But it's important for them to kind of see the vision for their future if they want to change their future. Otherwise, their future is, it's undeniable. It's like we have this question that I always ask is, why are you surprised? Why are you surprised with your results? And, the reality is you have actually had the habits and the thoughts and the stories that you tell yourself that have gotten you right here, right now. And I always say this is the most important moment of your life, whether you know it or not. Any of our listeners out there or watchers on YouTube, right now is the most important moment of your life, because there's nothing in the past you can change, and the future is only impacted by your thoughts right now. So literally you can change every trajectory of your life right now. And that's where I help people get on exponential curves. Companies, individuals, groups, teams, and that's fun. I mean, every day I just go into rooms and I change the energy, and I help the energy kind of grow so they start thinking bigger and bigger about themselves. And then all of a sudden you realize all the little small problems that bog them down just dissipate. And that's what I attempt to do in comedy. I really attempt, how do I actually take people out of their daily lives, bring them into a situation that they can laugh about, have fun with, and just enjoy a moment. Because comedy is one of those things that for the first time you're not multitasking, you're here now. And again, it's just another flow state. It's like I'm going to go surfing next week. It's another flow state. So when you start to learn how to get in and out of flow states, then you realize that's where I want to be. And then I don't want to have the distractions of alcohol, drugs, Netflix, all the things that really suck the life out of you. I want to live life with people that are passionate about it, that want to kind of see themselves in their future, and that just love every day. Because, I think a way that I kind of look at it is there's so much beauty in the world that it kind of fades to the background, and that's why we focus on negative things. Because if you just sat back and you looked, and I was riding in today, and it was actually sunny at the airport, and then it was raining when we got over here. And I was looking at this blue sky, and then I was looking at the clouds roll in, and I was looking at the rain, and I was just looking at all this stuff, and we're in lots of traffic, and the driver's complaining, and and I'm always like, on my travels, I'm always meeting people because I'm like this positive guy. Where my flight was missed because we had a 2-hour, maintenance delay, catching a flight from Phoenix to Houston, and then I didn't catch the Houston flight yesterday, so that's where I'm a little tired today. Yet in that, I was like, some people were complaining about it. I was like, thank God they said, let's just not go for it. Thank God they said, let's just, take off and see what happens,
Yeah.
and kind of sets people in their place is, I said, the marvel of the fact that I could get from Phoenix to Costa Rica in a few hours, when at a certain time in history, that was a lifetime of travel. Is amazing. The fact I've been here a dozen times is amazing. The fact that, I'm going to have sand in my, under my feet tomorrow.
I thought that was going somewhere else.
Yeah. I'm like, you told me to keep it clean. So, but I think that's the thing is, we don't go around appreciating everything. And I think if you have gratitude and joy, then you're going to live the best life ever. I just go in from one situation to another, have fun, and, things just start unfolding for me. It's like literally this, even as I told you my story, it wasn't like an intentional story. It was just like things unfold, and then I'm thinking bigger about myself, and I'm not putting details of how I'm going to live bigger. They're just coming into my life.
That's amazing. And I think like just being appreciative has that impact on your health. And like that we forget, like I think people don't realize like no matter what's going on in life, if you're healthy, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like you're going to
just take a deep breath. Like if right now, if everybody takes a deep breath, you realize like that breath there's so many amazing things that have to happen for you to have that breath. And, we should be, in all of the science we have and what you're able to do here at RMI, and just the fact of everything it makes life pretty good. And I always say if you have gratitude, then you can have joy. And when you have joy, you attract a lot better looking people on the inside and out. And you have a lot more fun, a lot more laughs. And like if you don't take things too seriously, it's all going to work out. If the fact of the matter is it's laughing that we think we're so significant that we have to get upset about little things, when in fact, we're here to solve bigger problems. And I think that's why I'm excited to be part of RMI's community and keep coming back, because I see this, as it democratizes for the future. In my book, I talk a lot about this as exponential technologies kind of expand, is they'll become more and more affordable. And, that's the goal for every person on this planet, to have access to these kind of sciences, because, we're really pushing the barrier of human limitations. And I'm a living proof and living example of it. So I have nothing but to be gratitude about it.
No, it's amazing. And it's crazy if you think of like where this was 5 years ago to where it is now, to where it's going to be in 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And like I was chatting with Chris this morning, and like 10 years ago, mental health was like so stigmatized. Like you couldn't say, well, I talked to my therapist, or I talked to somebody, like, what's wrong with you? Like you'd have, now everybody's like opening up and starting to think and be, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but like I feel like the mindset is changing, even in the States, because people are getting more aware of like the food they're eating, what's in it, what it really does to you, that there's so many depressants in it. There's all these different things that are designed to kind of keep you on this hamster wheel of, I'm not sick, but I'm not well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different moving parts that are just like getting people to start thinking about, it's okay to be well, it's okay to not be well, but there's a balance. And even if I'm down here, I can come back to here.
Yeah, it's awareness. I think, social media and the internet has its own challenges, but it's also, there are good pieces to it. There's certainly negative pieces if you're comparing yourself and canceling other people and all those different things. But the fact of the matter is there's, you have with AI and social media, you have all the knowledge at your fingertips. There's no longer an elite few that have this knowledge of how to actually live a life of meaning. And it doesn't necessarily mean of wealth. It's the fact is how to build your character so you're a human being that people respect, people love, people want to be around, have fun. And that's my goal as I tell you about all these different things, is like to make myself the most well-rounded human being and enjoy it with the people that I'm around, and live it day by day, but also have a bigger vision for myself much longer term. So every day I'm actually thinking about how I'm going to create that future longer term. And that's where, exponentially I'm involved in a half dozen exponential companies, and I'm helping them think much bigger than every time I walk into a boardroom and out of it, I'm making them, help them think a little bit bigger than they did about themselves personally, professionally, and organizationally. And that's very satisfying, and that's my purpose, my ikigai, my reason for being is to help people think bigger. And I wrote a book. I was blessed to write a book about it, and now I'm blessed to make jokes about it and act about it and have an interview about it and apply it to science and apply it to my own physical self, apply it to my own mental state, because, to that awareness about mental health, there is no physical health without mental health. So
100%.
you have to have the mental health before you can have physical health. And I think, that's our vision, Chris, that you had on your podcast earlier, and I for Vail Health, is how do you get really proactive, where you realize that mental health is literally the steps before having a physical health problem, because if you have mental health problems, you then go to addictive behaviors of alcohol, drugs, TV, indulging in food, not necessarily in good habits, which then ultimately 5 to 10 years later is going to cause you havoc on your physical health. So the tie of that is so clear and concise, let alone, that it has an impact on a community, that people don't act, the right way for the benefit of all community. And that's where it comes to blue zones, and it comes to kind of thinking bigger about communities, is how do we help everyone have access to this knowledge? So eventually then everyone can have access to stem cells. If you think about the greater vision of a future where we're very proactive, it's the fact that we're not waiting to get ill, which our healthcare system
It's designed around.
is designed around that.
Yeah.
We're literally creating a proactive system, which this right now, stem cells are all proactive, and it's literally changing the way that I think, but it's also changed the way that I've approached every other aspect of life, whether it's spiritual or financial. It's just thinking longer term and understanding that day by day you can create that future.
Yeah, it's not an instantaneous fix. It's like, I don't have to solve the world's problems today if I can just do it right, be ahead of things, be proactive mentally, physically. You're hopefully going to come out the other end of it.
Instead of doing the things that aren't going to change the world, every day spend 1% more of your time thinking about how you think bigger, and ultimately you are going to change the world extraordinary, because if you just do 1% better every day, that's 37x better in a year.
It's amazing.
That's an exponential curve. So it's not exponential change in a day, it's just incrementally kind of improving upon a situation. So me as a comedian, I'm getting funnier every day. So soon.
I feel it already. I mean, I can see you're on.
I'm a little tired right now, but.
One last one. What's your favorite part about Costa Rica? Like, when you come here, what are you looking for outside of the stem cells? What's your
Oh, surfing. Yeah. I mean, just in touch with nature. The fact that it's alive, it's a living, breathing forest, and all those little things you have gratitude for are everywhere around you. You're actually here, you have a hard time not appreciating them and not having gratitude, whoever you are. And I think it's embodied in the people and Pura Vida.
Pura Vida, yeah. I used to think it was a bumper sticker they used to say to gringos. Like, I thought that's what it was, and then I realized that everybody says it. It's like, everybody says it.
Thank you, welcome. I mean, it means everything. I saw in the airport, they told me, they did the translation, and it meant a lot more than I thought it did. So.
Yeah, it really is an embodiment of life. Yeah.
I don't think I know how to say it, but I just say it.
I butchered. Irish accent is the worst.
Pura Vida?
Pura Vida. I go.
Pura Vida?
Anybody out there have any?
Pura Vida?
Pura Vida.
Ah, see. The Irish. Ah.
But we're designed to butcher the English language. We owe them. It's paybacks.
I mean, Well, you're closer to the English language than we are in America, so
Yeah, you took out a lot of letters, yeah. So,
we added a lot more words too.
yeah, it's all right. Some of them are great.
Yeah. Well.
Well, Aaron, thank you so much. This was great.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom.
Looking forward to being, seeing where your journey's going to take you and, the magic of RMI.
Yeah, it was hard to concentrate with all your chest hair.
I know. I had that, and the colors match, I didn't realize until I got sitting here.
Anyways, thanks for having me. Look forward to a long journey with you and getting to know you better.
Awesome.
All right. Cool.
Thanks very
Thank you.
much.